Hey you guys, it's your girl Simone and welcome back to my channel. If y'all can see by the title, today is another story time. And this story, I don't know what to title it. I don't know what I'm gonna title it, but I just know this story takes place back when I was in high school. But before we get into this video, y'all make sure you subscribe to my channel because we almost there, y'all. 100 on the way. We had 80 something. We'll be to 90 soon, so make sure you subscribe, give a girl a thumbs up, and comment down below because them likes and comments really do help. And YouTube is gonna push me out if they see y'all interacting with me, so make sure you guys do that for your girl and I'll continue to make these videos for y'all. But anyway, so let's get straight into it. So y'all, I went to 3 different high schools, so I got a lot of stories. But I was recently just talking to my homegirl and I was just thinking about a whole bunch of stuff that happened. I was like, I'm gonna tell this story or whatever. This is one of many. Yeah, this story took place back when I was in the 11th grade and I went to Rialto High. So when I first came to this school, y'all, and I kind of mentioned this back when I told my story about when I got caught cheating or something like that. I forgot what I titled it, but I mentioned, like, you know, the situation. I mentioned this person, the boyfriend I was dating or whatever. I mentioned him, like a few other things, right? So yeah, when I was a new girl at the school, I didn't come like first day of the junior year. I came in like 3 weeks into the school year. I mean, yeah, like 3 weeks into the, you know, school year. 3 weeks, not nothing too crazy. So of course everybody knew like it was a new girl. Everybody know like, oh, I was new to the school or whatever like that. So boom, let's just fast forward. I was there for probably like a good 2 months at this time. So me and Turtle have been dating for a while because we really started dating real quick. Like he called dibs and it was just like, yeah, I really didn't care because at this time, yeah, my cousin, she went to the same school as me, but she had a different lunch than me. Like we didn't have the same lunch. And I was and I think I said this in my last story time that I started dating him because I really wanted to get friends and he knew a lot of people. So I was dating him, but then I ended up liking him and he ended up dogging me out. So it was like, but anyway, so at this time I already had my one little friend and me and her was cool, close with. I didn't get more friends, like a lot of friends, until the second semester, but that's another story that ain't about right now. So anyway, this boy, Turtle, used to always walk me to class, right? But it was this one class that was like before lunch, he would never walk me to. I don't know why. Like his class would be on the other side and he would always be going to his class late and ditching and stuff like that. But for some reason, this one class he would never walk me to. Like he asked me like, oh, what classes I got? And I told him. So the class that I had, it was a English class, but it was a senior English class because your girl was ahead on her credits, okay? I was up there. So in my junior year, I was taking my 12th grade English class or whatever, right? So the building that it was in, he was just like, oh, it's right there by blah 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 class, by the Spanish class. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, okay. But he never would walk me to this class. So eventually he just one day, I'm like, walk me to my class because I had some books. Like we had went to the library and it was like some books we had and shit. So I'm like, can you walk me to my class because I want him to carry my books for me. So he like, all right. So he's like, all right, I'm gonna walk you to your class or whatever. Like, but he was really dreading it. Like, oh, do you have to take these books with you? I could hold them for you. I could do this. I'm like, no, just walk me to my class so you could carry these books for me because during the class we was gonna return the books. It was something like that, which really didn't make sense because I was carrying the books all day. Well, I couldn't just carry them. I don't know. I really don't know. But anyway, he walked me to that class that day. That's what he did. So anyway, so he walked me to my class or whatever. So anytime he would walk me to my class, you know, we'll be holding hands, hand in hand and shit like that. And then when we get to the class, he'll get, like, we'll kiss. And we only used to just peck. Like, we used to just mwah, and that's it. Probably like mwah, mwah, but that's about it. So we kissed or whatever, and he left. And I noticed I was walking in the class like a little late. And I'm like, all right, see you later. And I was walking in the class and I noticed he walked, instead of leaving out the building, he walked down to a different class, the Spanish class that he would always ask me about. So I'm thinking like, okay, maybe he got homies in there or whatever. I paid it no mind, right? So I go in the classroom, and when I go in the classroom, like people in the classroom, like the other seniors, they was like, okay, Junior. Like they was saying like, Junior got a boyfriend, calling me Junior. Not that I'm named after my daddy or nothing like that, but they was calling me Junior, you know, because I was a junior and they were seniors. So they like, Junior got a boyfriend. It was only one other girl in that class that was in my grade. And we're going to call her Legs because she's a part of this story. So, well, yeah, she is. So Legs ended up coming up to me and she like scoot in the desk next to me, and she was, because the teacher didn't care where we sat at. Like as long as you in the classroom, then you in the classroom. So, but pretty much everybody sat in the same area. But yeah, like, so Legs comes sliding the desk next to me and she was like, I know that's not who I think it is. And I was like, huh? Like, because mind you, this girl never spoke to me in class. I'm like 2 months into the school. Like, she never spoke to me. We never spoke, whatever. So she like, I know that wasn't who I think it was. And I was like, what? Like, you know, like, huh? But I'm smiling because I already knew who she was talking about, because the whole class was like, okay. Like, even the boys and the girls, like, they was like, oh, you got a boyfriend? Like, you know. So I'm just smiling, and she was like, girl, that was Turtle? And I was like, yeah, mind you, who else would it be? You seen him. Like, she was walking in the class behind me, like, you know it's Turtle. You know it. So she like, that was Turtle? And I'm like, yeah, that was Turtle. She was like, girl, y'all talk, girl. We kissed, okay? That's my man. Like, we doing more than talking, obviously, because we kissed. Like, what are you talking about? But anyway, I'm just like, yeah, like, that's my boyfriend. She was like, your boyfriend? I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh my god, that's so cute. That's so cute. Like, oh my god, Turtle have a girlfriend? And she's like, and he's like showing you off at school? Like, that's so crazy. So at this point, I'm kind of feeling myself a little bit, because she's talking about something he's showing me off at school. So I'm thinking like, oh, Turtle don't do this. Like, he doing this with me, but he ain't do that with y'all. Like, you know, I'm kind of feeling myself. And she's like, y'all is cute together. That's cute. Like, how long have y'all been together? And I'm telling her, she was just asking me all these questions and stuff, and I'm just smiling, telling her, like, probably doodling in a little notebook, drawing our names, or drawing my real man's name. I don't know, I was drawing somebody's name. But anyway, so I'm just like telling her, and she was just like, oh, okay, that's so cute. She was all like, where you come from again? I'm like, oh, I came from LA. Like, she was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then she was like, dang, you and Turtle, that's so cute. She was like, I wonder if he broke up with, and we gonna call this girl Kool-Aid. And the reason why we calling her Kool-Aid is because y'all remember when people used to sell Kool-Aid and gummy worms at school, and gummy bears and stuff like that with the Kool-Aid in it. I swear, it didn't matter what time of the day it was, she was eating these. Like, she wasn't even the one who sold them, but she probably made herself a whole bunch and just ate them throughout the day. But it would be crazy, because it's like, you don't want to eat nothing else. But so we just gonna call her Kool-Aid. So she was like, I wonder if him and Kool-Aid broke up. Which is like, girl, what did you mean you wonder if they broke up? I clearly just told you this is my boyfriend. So I'm like, who is Kool-Aid? She's like, girl, you don't know who Kool-Aid is? I'm like, no, I'm new. Like, I don't know who Kool-Aid is. She's like, oh my gosh. She's like, yeah, Kool-Aid is his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, I guess, because y'all together. She was like, but I didn't know they broke up. Like, I didn't know him and Kool-Aid broke up. And I was like, oh yeah, me and him have been together for like, at this point, probably, I'm gonna just say a month. So I'm like, yeah, like, how you don't know? We always walking around this school, like, but I'm not saying none of this. I'm just like, oh yeah. So I'm like, oh, and I'm like, well, I ain't had no issues with nobody, so you know, I'm like, and we always together, so I guess him and Kool-Aid don't go together no more. And she just like, yeah, I guess not. She was like, but that's crazy. I didn't even know they broke up. Like, I really didn't even know that. And I'm like, so, like, who is Kool-Aid? Like, trying to get her to tell me. She was like, it's hard to describe her. She was like, she's short. Like, it is hard to describe her, but that's crazy. I just didn't know they broke up. She was like, but that's so cute. Like, y'all are cute or whatever. Like, keep, you know, whatever. And I'm just like, okay. So now at this point, I'm thinking, like, who is Kool-Aid? I need to know who Kool-Aid is, because I didn't ask him. No, I think he did tell me some girls that he did talk to at the school before, but he never, this Kool-Aid person did not ring a bell to me at all. So I'm just like, and I'm not good with names. Maybe I should have described the girl. I would have been like, oh, I think I've seen her before. But at that point, you know, whatever. So after class happens, and after class, he would like meet me in the quad, and then we'll walk to lunch together sometimes, or I would be with my friend and just meet. We'll all just meet at the table, because it would be a whole bunch of us like kicking it and stuff. And it's not like we wasn't like that cringy couple that would just make out all day. Like, we wasn't like that. I wasn't even on that with him. Like, when I tell y'all, me and him never even did the do. We never did the do, and I never had intentions on doing it with him neither. And I was like a virgin at this time. Not like a virgin. I was a virgin. It's not like I was a half virgin. You know how you could be half a virgin but not like, I wasn't doing nothing at this time. And I knew who I wanted to give it to, and it wasn't gonna be Turtle. But anyway. So yeah. So at this day, like, I met him in a quad or whatever, and he was just like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna meet you at the table, because my homegirl was right there too. So he's like, I'm gonna meet y'all at the table, I'm gonna go. So we like, all right, because I went with my homegirl to go grab something. So when I was telling her, I started telling her about legs, and I'm like, oh yeah, this girl in my class, but I didn't say her name. I just said this girl in my class. I'm like, she was asking me and stuff. I'm like, so who is Kool-Aid? She said, Kool-Aid. I'm like, yeah, who's Kool-Aid? She said, girl, is this some drama with Kool-Aid? And I'm like, no, I don't know who she is, but somebody was in my class asking me if her and Turtle still date. So she was like, girl, they never dated. Like, they never was together. Kool-Aid is weird. She do this with every girl he talked to. Like, she's weird. So I'm like, who is Kool-Aid? She's like, I'm gonna show you her when we see her. Like, when we run into her, I'm gonna show you her. She's like, because we've seen her plenty of times. She was like trying to like describe it to me, and I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. She's like, I'm gonna show you her. We be seeing her a lot. Like, we see her a lot. I'm like, do she be at the table with us? And she was like, no, but she don't be front by the, like, she be like at the next couple of tables over. Like, we see her a lot. Like, I'm gonna show you her. I'm like, all right, like, you know. So I'm thinking like, I want to see who this Kool-Aid girl is. Like, I'm just missing. Like, how I just don't know who this is. But I'm like, it's no drama though, so that's the cool part. So we walking, and when we walking, I end up seeing, like, so my homegirl, we walking, and she like on her phone, like with her head down, and I'm like looking up, and I'm talking, and guess what I see Legs with a girl. So I'm like, hey Legs, and when I seen her, she just like laughed and like waved and like smiled and looked away and was back talking to the girl. So then when I said Legs' name, my homegirl looked up and she was like, girl, that was Kool-Aid. And I said, who was Kool-Aid? She was like, the girl that was with Legs. Because she heard the name. Because mind y'all, when I first told her, I never said Legs' name. I just said a girl in my class. So when she heard the name, she was like, the girl Legs was with, that's Kool-Aid. And I was like, wait, what? She was like, girl, they're best friends. She was like, why you didn't tell me Legs is the one who told you? She was like, oh my God, like they're weird. Why you didn't tell me it was Legs? And I'm like, I don't know. It slipped my mind to say the girl name. I just said the girl. Like, you know, I didn't think to say like, I don't know. She was like, yes, that's Kool-Aid who she was with. That's her best friend. So I'm like, what? So at this point, I'm just so confused because I'm just thinking like, how you gonna say you wonder if they broke up when it's your best friend, you know if they're together or not. So at this point, I'm feeling some type of way because I'm thinking like, not my man cheating on me. Not my second man, and I'm just kidding. So I'm just thinking like, what? So I was like, but I'm like, I'm not about to press at school because now we finna go to the lunch table. I'm not finna press in front of everybody. Like, that's not what I'm not finna do. I'm gonna talk to him later. So anyway, it like totally slipped my mind. And when I went home, it slipped my mind to even ask him about Kool-Aid because I'm thinking like maybe her friend is just being messy because this girl's not saying nothing to me. Me and this boys be together, like we kiss at school, all this other stuff. So it really slipped my mind to say anything. And just a small disclaimer, y'all, this is about to be a long story. I don't know how long it's gonna be, but it's gonna be a long story only because I could have split it in 2 parts, but it really don't make sense to do that. Like, if wherever I would think about stopping it at and picking it back up, it just wouldn't make sense. So it's best if I just make this one long story. So yeah, so anyway, I got home and it slipped my mind to even say anything to him. And why I get a message on Facebook and it's from Kool-Aid? So I'm like, what do Kool-Aid want? So I ended up looking at the message and she was just like, you talk to Turtle? It'd be kind of hard because I'd be almost about to say his name. But she was like, you talk to Turtle? And I'm just thinking like, I've been talking to Turtle this whole time. The day he walked me to this class, all of a sudden, it's just, everybody need to ask questions. When it's like, now that I did see Kool-Aid, I did remember her. Like, they do be sitting at the table not too far from us. Like, so you've seen us together. So I was like, yes, that's my boyfriend. And she was just like, LOL, your boyfriend. Like, you know, and I'm just like, girl, all of a sudden, like, maybe your best friend got you feeling embarrassed, but yes, that's my man. You know, like, so at this point, we going back and forth on Facebook and stuff. She telling me how that's her man. She was just over there last night, all this other stuff. Like, she's saying all this stuff. And I'm just like, girl, whatever, like, you're weird, da da da. So I send it to him, like, I send him the message and I'm just like, Turtle, so you mess with Kool-Aid, like, da da da. I'm like, just telling him, and he was just like, wow, do not talk to her, like, she's weird as fuck, like, wow, she hit you up, like, that's weird, hold on, I'm finna press, like, I'm finna say something to her. So I'm like, okay, and send me the proof. Like, you know, I don't want to just hear, I need to see it. So he ended up hitting up Kool-Aid and he was just like, he hit her up. The message literally was like, you're a weirdo. And she was just like, how? And he was just like, why? Don't hit up my girlfriend, all this other stuff. That's it, that's all. He sent me that message. He didn't send me what she replied back after he said don't hit up my girlfriend. He just sent me that message and that was it. So at this point, I'm just like, okay, he did what he needed to do. But when I think back on it, and later when I thought back on it too, I'm just thinking like, he clearly ain't gonna send me what else he said, because it's clearly more to that story. He didn't want me to see her response, like, for obvious reasons. That's why he didn't send them to me. So she ended up like hitting me. She was just saying like something. She was like, oh, you gonna tell on me? LOL, you gonna tell that I hit you up? She was like, I'm gonna just stop talking to you because I don't want to get in trouble with daddy. Girl, who is daddy? You ain't talking about my man. You ain't talking about Turtle. You ain't talking about my slow boyfriend, because that's why his name is Turtle, because he gave me slow vibes. But anyway, so I'm just like, no, she not. Like, no, she's not talking about him. So I sent her the screenshot message that he sent me where he hit her up. And I was just like, LOL. And she didn't reply. Like, she did not reply. So I'm like, yeah, it took her like a cool minute. When she finally did reply, it probably was like hours later. And at that point, I was already asleep. So the next day come and I'm just like, yeah, since she want to play, I'm going to play too. Like, I'm going to be funny. You want to laugh? I'm going to be a clown. Like, we want to play? We could play. We going to play. So the next day come or whatever, And I told him, like, you walking me to my class? Because I knew that Legs was in that class, and that's Kool-Aid's friend. That's her best friend. So I'm like, you walking me in my class from now on. You're not missing out on this class. So he was like, all right, like, you know, whatever. All right, he really didn't care. Like, he did not care. He was like, okay, whatever you want me to do, I'm gonna do it. So I'm like, all right, cool. So he walking to me in my class or whatever. And, you know, it's just the normal usual. And I was telling him, I said, meet me back here after my class. Because now that I realized who who Kool-Aid was, I remember her class had to be somewhere in this area, because right when we be walking out the building, she be right there waiting for Legs. So I'm like, meet me back here after my class is over. You better be here when the bell ring. I don't care how you do it. But when the bell ring, I don't care. His class was way on the other side of the school. But I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. Tell him you got to pee the last 10 minutes and you need to be right here. Because you need to be here. So he like, all right, I'm going to be here. So I'm like, okay. I didn't tell him why. I just had this in my head. I'm like, I just want to see something. Like, you know, I just want to see something. So we in the class. And when we was in the class, tell me why Legs going to school next to me and was like, girl, what happened with you and Kool-Aid? I heard y'all got into it. No, you didn't. From when we was talking through DM, there's no way you could hear we got to it. So I said, oh, well, if you heard anything, I'm pretty sure your best friend already told you. Like, we just was talking on Facebook. Like, you know, mind you, we're talking through DM. We're not I wasn't on her page at this point. But so it's like, don't even sit here and try to make it seem like you heard anything. You didn't hear your best friend told you what happened. So she was like, girl, she was like, don't even say it like that. She was like, yeah, that's my best friend. We've been friends for a long time. But she have a way of just blowing up out of nowhere for over nothing. So I just wanted to see what was up. Like, what happened with you? Like, I want to know. So I'm just like, well, ask her. Like, ask her to show you the messages. She probably already did. Like, you know, at this point, I'm not being smiley nice with you because, bitch, you're weird. This is your best friend this whole time, and you're weird. So she was just like, you know, after she realized I wasn't really trying to talk to her, she stopped talking to me. So after class ring, whatever, guess who's at that door waiting for me? Turtle is at the door waiting for me. So now I'm being extra. Mind y'all, I used to be like super shy and shit. So this time we holding hands, I'm hugging you from time to time, kissing you, like, but I didn't do all that until we passed by Legs and Kool-Aid, because again, like I said, this class was before lunch. So at this time, what's it called, my homegirl, she had told me it was something, I forgot what they was serving that day. Like, in certain lines they'll serve certain stuff, but on that day they was serving something that we both liked, but the line be super long and it be like getting not sold out, but like it be gone soon. So I can't think of the word, I'm sorry. But yeah, so she was like, already told me like she was gonna meet me in the line. So because the line was already long, she was like, I'm gonna meet you in the line. So she wasn't meeting me right there that day anyway, so it was cool to have him with me. So anyway, so we walk out the door and they like standing off to the side, because when the class came out, I came out and I was standing right there by the door with him. He ended up, like, you know, Legs ended up leaving out, and I already knew that old girl was gonna be right there waiting for her, and they be already just like lingering in the little quad or whatever. So I'm like, yeah, I want them to see us walk out together. So we walk out, I'm holding his hand, I'm laughing about nothing. Like, he probably was telling me like my dog rolled over today, and I probably was like, oh my god, you're so funny, babe. Like, doing the most just because I wanted her attention, because I'm just like, you was talking all that shit on Facebook, like, if this your man, you finna see me with him, and I want you to say something now. Like, now I want you to say something to me, because why not? So we walk out, we hand in hand or whatever, and she see us, like, and she giving me the coldest look. Lex is looking too, like, no, like, what? So mind you, you've seen us together plenty of times before. Like, you've seen us together plenty of times before. So we just like right there, and I stopped him, and I just like gave him a hug and gave him a kiss, you know, just doing the most because she's right there. And she was like, fuck you, bitch. Y'all, she said, fuck you, bitch. And I just looked at her, started laughing, and he was finna say something to her, but I like laughed, like, and I pulled him off and like walked away with his hand. Like, we hand in hand in the school center, not giving a damn who sees us. Like, girl, how is this your man? Like, how is this your man? So we walk off, like, I pulled him. He was just like, oh, I was finna say something to her, like, why you didn't let me say nothing to her? Like, you know, like, and I was just like, nah, I'm not even tripping, like, you know, because I'm already thinking like, I'm not finna embarrass you no more than what I already just did, baby girl. Like, which I should have let him, which wouldn't have made no difference anyway, because they both was lying to me in the end, but it really didn't matter. But anyway, so yeah, so anyway, so that happened, whatever. And later that day at school, Turtle ended up getting suspended because he had a fight. So I'm like, Turtle, he always doing some shit. So he ended up getting suspended because he had a fight, and it was like a Friday, and I think he got suspended for like a week or some shit, I don't know, but he just wasn't at school. So it was Friday, we went home. Guess who hits me up talking shit again on Facebook? Mind you, we not even friends on Facebook, but her page was public and I could see she was subbing me, like subbing me. And then she was like commenting on his shit, like she was really doing the most. And he was not saying nothing to her on Facebook, like get off of my post. My woman is watching. He didn't say any of this. But anyway, she ended up hitting me up on Facebook and was just like, you're scary as fuck. You didn't even do nothing when I said something to you. And I was just like, if that's your man, why you didn't say nothing? If that's your man, why I'm holding hands with him? If that's your man, why you didn't stop me from kissing him in front of you? If that's your man, you know, I'm just saying that. Like, that's basically what I'm saying. And she was just like, I'm gonna beat you up on Monday. Because she got mad because everything she was saying, I'm like, if that's your man, then why? If that's your man, like, you know, because I just kept saying that. So I'm just like, wow, you gonna beat me up on Monday? Okay, cool. All right, I'll come prepared. So she was just like, yeah, I'm gonna beat you up on Monday. And she was just like, it's funny because you're not even his type. She was like, he must be really mad at me and trying to make me mad because you're not even his type, LOL. When I tell y'all, I'm not the person that's gonna say somebody is crazy looking just because I don't like them. I promise y'all. Like, even when I tell stories about Crazy and I say about Bimbo, I'm like, Bimbo was a pretty girl. Like, I don't discredit anybody. You know, I give credit where credit is due. So when she said this to me, mind y'all, I'm gonna post a picture of me from high school. Y'all can see it right there. Y'all know it's different times. When I look back on it, I be cringy like, look at me. But you know, of course, you know, it was different times. But I was cute. Like, I used to dress up to date and all this. When I tell y'all, this girl was so dusty. Hair was never done. She would wear a puffball ponytail, but it would be sticking out everywhere. Like, she wouldn't even slick it. Like, girl, what? What's not his type? So I told her, I said, okay, maybe he wanted to upgrade. Because clearly you know, so she was just like, Elo, I'm going to really beat you up. Like, she really just like, she going to beat me up. So I'm just like, okay, girl. Okay. Like, you know, it's just funny. Like, you're so mad. You're so mad. So, of course, we, like, subbed each other back and forth. Both pages are open. We not friends on there, but, you know, I know she seen my subs. I seen hers because we was really, like, sub for sub. Like, it was sub Sunday. Anyway. Boom. Monday come, and I had already told him that I got into it with her. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna fight her on Monday. And he was just like, you better not fight her, da-da-da-da-da. If you get suspended, like, this and that. So I'm just like, I don't care. I'm gonna fight her. So Monday come, right? Monday comes. And I'm telling my homegirl, my one friend, I told my cousin too, but again, she had a different lunch than me. So I'm telling her, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna fight the girl. So she told me we was gonna fight at lunch and all that other shit. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So when I'm walking to go to my class, because mind y'all, remember I told him he was gonna have to start walking me in my class. So this day I'm walking to my class. This day, usually I'll be on my phone walking or whatever if I'm not walking with him. But I'm on my P's and Q's because I'm like, ain't nobody finna run up on me. Like, that's not what you finna do. I'm not finna be head down and you just take off on me, you know? And then I'll roll over like a roly-poly and I'm just down bad. Like, that's not what's finna happen. So I'm like looking around. So I see Legs and her walking in the building where my class is at, my English class. The one I got with Legs. So I'm looking like, okay, so you looking for me now? I thought we was fighting after this class. Like, you looking for me now? So I'm walking in. I'm like not too far from behind them or whatever. And I'm walking in or whatever. And I see her. Guess where I see Kool-Aid? I was going to say Takuda. Why am I going to call that bitch Takuda? I don't know. Guess where I seen Kool-Aid go? Kool-Aid went inside the Spanish class that was by my class. So now something started clicking in my head. I'm like, hold on. He never used to want to walk me to this class. He would ask me about the Spanish class. When he did walk me on the first day to this class, he went over to the Spanish class. So I'm like, this will explain why she's always in this area. And I'm like, hold up. Why was you going to go see her? So at this point, I'm already mad. So I'm hitting him up, like, even though he at home, he got all the time in the world to reply to me. Boy, you was suspended at home. So I'm hitting him up like, oh, when you go to that Spanish class, do you be going to go see Kool-Aid? And he was just like, no, I have friends in that class, da-da-da-da. Nobody goes see her. I didn't even know she was in that class. When I tell you, this boy said lie about stupid stuff. Like, I swear, we could be walking, and I'm like, oh, don't cross yet. The light just turned green for the other people. And he'd be like, I didn't even see the light turn. The light is green. I didn't even see that green light. Wow, that's a green light. Wow, that light is not green. I can't tell. Like, he would really lie about stupid. He would say, it would just wouldn't make sense. Like, I was just kind of irritated with him. So, guess who come talk to me in class? Legs. She was like, girl, what is going on with you and Kool-Aid? You need to let me know because I'm trying to save you. You're trying to what? She was like, at this point, I got a whole attitude because it's like, girl, what are you talking about? You're trying to save who? You're trying to save what? She was like, I'm trying to save you and you not trying. She was like, you being difficult. She was like, what's going on? Let me know, because I could talk to Kool-Aid, because I told you she have a little anger issues. So I said, girl, I'm not scared of nobody. We're supposed to be fighting at lunch. I'm pretty sure you know that. She was like, but girl, I'm trying to save you from her. Like, you do not want to fight her. I promise you do not want to fight her. Just let me know and I could just fix it. I said, let you know what? Let you know I'm like, she's delusional. She thinks she messed with my man and she wants to fight me, so I'm gonna fight her. Like, you know, she the one called me out. I'm gonna fight her. So she was like, Symone, just because you from LA don't mean nobody's scared of you. Y'all. And I'm just like, when have I said that? Like, girl, I'm not running around here like Natalie Nunn screaming, I run LA. Like, I've never did this. So what are you talking about? Like, I really stayed to myself most of the time if I wasn't with my one friend that I had until the second semester. But anyway, I'm just like, girls, nobody is afraid of her. I really do not care. She's like, she's from San Bernardino. Like, she know how to fight. She be fighting all the time. She fight every weekend. Okay, Floyd Mayweather, good for you. Like, I don't care. I'm still gonna fight you because you wanted to fight me. So she's just like, oh, whatever, I tried to save you. Like, she's getting so mad at me because it's like, what do you want me to tell you? Like, what is it that you want me to tell you? You already know why we get into it. Like, do you want me to be like, please beg Floyd Jr. not to fight me because I'm so afraid. I come from LA, but I don't know what I'm doing in these Rialto streets. Like, girl, it's nothing to tell you. Like, she want to fight me? Then I said, okay. Like, so I'm like, girl, whatever. So at this point, it was like a lot of people who knew about it because she was telling people about it. Legs was telling people about it. Remember, I had my one friend and I had my cousin that went there, which they were just like, well, you know, my cousin, she had a different lunch, but she was just like, if you need me, like, let me know. I will come to your lunch, like, you know. And I'm just like, y'all, it's cool. Like, you know, I'm not really tripping. So, like, few people knew. It was people that I knew that I wasn't friends. I mean, I was friends with we didn't hang out. It was just more like a high and by basis and stuff like that. Was asking me like, oh, you good? Like, you know, having my back. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm good. So they like, all right, y'all. When I tell you that class was over, I'm ready to fight, y'all. I'm ready to fight. I'm like, whew, okay, I'm gonna fight this girl. I'm probably gonna get suspended. My mom is gonna be mad because I already be having to go to Saturday school because I'll be late to school, and they already done called her, threatened her to talk about going to court. So she's gonna be even more mad. But you know, this is what we have to do for the culture. You know, we have to do this. But anyway, so I leave out the class. I meet my homegirls right there. It's like some people right there, some other people I don't even know right there, because I guess they just knew it was gonna be a fight. So she's standing there, y'all. She got her hoodie on or whatever. She's standing there. She just like eating her Kool-Aid gummy worms right there. I just would not forget that, because I was just sitting there like, this bitch is finna get me dirty. Like, she's eating these Kool-Aid. Her hands are dirty as hell. Like, ugh. I'm just like, I don't know why that was what I thought about. Like, it's crazy because I wasn't thinking about nothing else at that moment. At this moment, I didn't think about my mom having to go to court because me being late to school doing bullshit, and now I'm finna get suspended. At this point, I only thought about her getting me dirty with them sticky fingers that she had. And I was just like, oh. So she's standing like over there, like we all in the courtyard, but she's standing on this one side, I'm standing on this one side. I went to my homegirl. Legs over there, they talking or whatever. It's like people around them, and it's people really waiting, like with phones out ready, like, come on, y'all finna fight? We're not arguing or nothing. So I'm like, I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna go say something to her. So they like, nah, let her come up to you because she might try to take off on you. I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, well, hold my backpack. Like, I'm just gonna go over there, like, and say, like, what's up? They like, let her come to you. So I'm like, nah, I'm gonna go over there. So they like, all right, let's go. Shit. So we walk over there, and I was like, what's up? Where you wanna fight at? Y'all, when I tell y'all, she was like, bitch, I'm not finna get suspended for you. She started yelling. I made a whole scene. You would think it was a director somewhere around and they was gonna say cut. This girl made a scene. I tell you, she started yelling. She's like, bitch, I'm not finna get suspended for you. If I get suspended, I'm gonna get expelled because I've been beating bitches up. Mind y'all, who did she beat up? Anyway, so I'm just like, oh, probably when she be fighting on the weekends at home. But anyway, so I'm just like, okay. So I'm like, all right, well, you want to fight after school? She was like, yeah, we could fight after school. I'm going to hit you. I'm going to let you know the location. Meet me at the back gate. Okay, is you going to hit me and let me know the location, or you want me to meet you at the back gate? Which one is it? I'm like, all right, whatever. Like, you know, whatever. She's like, yeah, but I'm not about to get suspended for fighting. And at this time, like, it was kind of making her doing all of that. It was really, like, too much. Because what... I was just like, ugh, this girl's doing too much. Like, we gonna go to the principal office already because you're doing... I'm not finna go to... If I'm going to the principal office, we gonna have to at least fight. Like, I'm not finna go to the office for nothing and be sitting there. And I didn't even eat lunch. Now I'm starving. No, we got to do something. So anyway, it was just a big scene. They just like, all right, y'all, move out the way, go to lunch. Like, y'all, so we end up going to lunch or whatever. And he hit me up like, did you fight? I'm like, no, I didn't fight her yet because she want to fight after school. And he was just like, oh, okay, well, be careful because she be cutting people. So I'm just like, you could have told me this the night before. Like, you could have at least said this the night before. But it's all good. It's all good. You know, it's cool. It's cool. So anyway, the day going by, after school come. This girl is nowhere to be found at that back gate. She is nowhere to be found. So Legs was like, Kool-Aid left. Like, she had to leave early because they heard she went to fight. And they already know how her hands is. And they was worried about you. So they had made her leave. Like, they made her leave for the rest of the day. And I'm like, this don't even make no sense. When they have called me to the office too, like, this what? So I'm just like, whatever. So I go home. The next day, she did not come to school. She didn't come to school for like 2 days. So at this point, I'm kind of thinking like, damn, did she get suspended? Like, did this bitch really got hands like that? And they suspended her because they was afraid of me, for me? Like, what's going on? She didn't hit me up or none of that. So she didn't come to school. And then y'all, this is why my mom was mad and I had to go makeup days because I used to miss school a lot too. So she didn't come for 2 days, and then so she didn't come like Tuesday, Wednesday. So I think I didn't come on Thursday. You know, so it was like we really just missed each other. I don't know if she came Friday. Shit, I don't know. I didn't see the girl. But anyway, Friday after school, she ended up hitting me up. And she was just like, can I tell you something? And I was like, what? Like, you know, she was taking so long to reply. So I'm sending question marks like, what? Like, what do you want to tell me? So she was just like, I can't fight you. And she was like, and it's not that I'm scared of you. She was like, if you already know that they sent me home because they thought I was gonna beat you up. She was like, and I'm just like, this bitch. So at this point, she couldn't even finish what she was writing after she said that, because I'm the person that's gonna send it all in one paragraph. Boom. She was sending it like that. So I'm just like, bitch, wasn't nobody scared of you? Like, you know. And then she sent another message and she was like, I can't fight you because I'm not gonna lose my baby. I'm pregnant. Yeah. When she said that, my heart dropped, because I'm just thinking like, hold on, you're pregnant and we fighting over my man, which means I'm not ready to be a teen stepmom. And at this time, this is, I think, when Teen Mom came out too, around that time. Maybe it came out before then. Teen Mom was on the air. I mean, 16 Pregnant was on the air. I wasn't trying to be a teen stepmom though. I was like, not my man. So I'm just like, what? I was like, you're pregnant. You know, I was hot. My heart dropped. I'm like, oh hell no. I'm like, is it Turtle's baby? And she was just like, girl, honestly, I can't answer that question for you. She was like, you just need to talk to him. When I tell y'all my whole heart drop, I'm hitting him up. I'm like, Turtle, you got this bitch pregnant, da-da-da-da-da. And mind y'all, let me tell y'all. So since I wasn't doing nothing with Turtle, I always had this mindset that if he did stuff with other girls, I wouldn't have cared. Which I never told him this. I never told this man this at all. I just had this mindset. Like, I wouldn't have cared because I never planned on having sex with Turtle. Like, I didn't plan on losing my virginity to him. Like, I just didn't. Like, it just wasn't in the cards for me. It just wasn't. That wasn't finna happen. So I used to think like shit, because he used to pressure me, like pressure, and I could tell when he did go cheat because he wouldn't pressure as much for like 2 days, and then when I see him again, it's a whole different story. But I could just tell, like, I just knew what was up. Like, I just knew like, oh, he must have did something with somebody else. And you know, I would press about it, y'all. Like, I would press about it, even though I had it in my mind that's good, somebody giving it to him, because I ain't. So yeah, but I didn't ever tell him this, of course. You know, I wouldn't have been okay with that, like him doing that. Y'all, I know y'all probably like, girl, you is not making no sense. I know I'm really not. Let me tell you now, that is not how I think now. That was high school me, and that's because I wasn't ready to do anything with that man. But me now, shit, I wish the fuck I would be telling my man to cheat on me on the low. Bitch, like, that is out, okay? What the fuck you talking about? No, that's not nothing that's gonna happen. But anyway. So I'm hitting Turtle up and I'm just like, yo, what the fuck? Like, he just like, oh my god, that bitch is not pregnant. That bitch is not pregnant. So at this time, I'm just stressed out. I'm like, I need to talk to him face to face. Y'all, it's a weekend. I might need to talk to this man face to face. I'm at home. He still was suspended for that whole week, so I didn't even see him. So, but it's just after school anyway. So y'all, we used to live kind of not far from each other. But it was a park by my house, and I used to have him meet me up there and we'll hang out. So I would just take my little sisters with me and tell my mom, like, oh, I'm finna take my little sisters to the park. And at that time, they was like 2 and 3. So I was just like, I'm finna take them to the park. And they would never tell on me. Like, even if they did say little stuff, nobody would believe them anyway, because my little sisters was very weird at a young age. And like, no offense to them, it was funny. Like, it was funny. But they used to say weird stuff all the time. So if they would have said we seen Symone at the park with a boy, people would have just went, ugh. Like, my 3-year-old sister used to think she used to think her and Michael Jackson was dating. So she would say stuff like, don't be rude, say hi to Michael Jackson, and it'll be like, that's a vacuum cleaner. Like, you know, so nobody would have thought what they were saying was true anyway, because it's like, whatever, okay. Whatever. Michael Jackson was there too. They was just strange. So I always used to take them anyway. I'd be like, oh, I'm taking them to the park, and it's like, okay. So anyway, I took them to the park. I'm speed rushing, like, come on, kids. Like, you know, they walking slow. Like, y'all, come on. Pushing one in a stroller, holding one hand. I used to stay taking them with me. So we went to the park. I'm just letting them play. And he ended up coming up there. And I'm just like, so what's going on? Like, I'm just damn near heart beating fast, crying low-key. I'm like, what? Like, so she's pregnant. He was like, I don't even think she's really pregnant. I think she's lying. She done did this before. So I'm like, did this before? I'm like, so like, when did she get pregnant? Like, you know, I'm just trying to figure this out. He was like, I promise you, I did not cheat on you with her. Cheat on you with her. Cheat on you with her. Yeah, I said that right. Okay. So he's like, I did not cheat on you. He was like, she have to, because mind you, at this time I've been to school for like 2 months. This nigga gonna say she has to be like 4 months. You mean to tell me she found out she was pregnant at 4 months? You mean to So I'm like, she's 4 months. He's like, yeah, she has to be 4 months, because that's the last time we even did anything was 4 months ago. So I'm like, so she just found out she was pregnant at 4 months. And he thought because I was a virgin, I didn't know about nothing. Boy, I still take health class, and my mama got 2 little ones right here playing in the swings. Like, I know, I know it doesn't make sense. So I'm like, so she found out she was pregnant at 4 months. So he's like, she has to be 4 months. Like, he was like, but I don't know if the baby's mine. Like, this baby is probably not mine, or she probably lying because she did this before. He was like, but if she is pregnant, she's most definitely 4 months, and it's not mine. So how would she be 4 months and it's not yours? You say you did some, like, make it make sense. Is it yours or what? Like, he was like, yeah. So I'm sorry, I don't know. She's been telling me about this shit, talk about she want to get a DNA test, all this other shit, and I'm just like, oh my god. Like, he was just telling me how he's stressed out, which I could care less because I'm stressed out. Like, what? Like, so I was like, oh hell nah. So I was just so mad, so hurt. Like, I was so hurt. After we ended up leaving the park, he was like, you want me to walk out home? I'm like, no, the fuck, I'm not gonna let my people see you walking me home with these kids. But anyway, so I ended up going back home, and I was just stressed out. I promise you, I was stressed out. I didn't even hit that girl up, y'all. Saturday came, this girl ended up hitting me up, and she was just like, the message she sent me just was shocking as hell, y'all. She apologized to me. She was just like, I'm so sorry for even trying to fight you. So at this point, when she's apologizing to me, I'm like, this is this nigga's baby, and she's apologizing to me because she knows I'm gonna be a stepmama, and she wants me to be in this child's life, and she don't want to have bad blood with me because I'm the stepmama. Like, I'm just thinking, like, for one, I'm not the stepmama because I'm just gonna be with my real man anyway. But yeah, at this point I'm like, his baby. She was like, I don't even know why I was trying to fight you in the first place. She was like, it was just a lot of he say, she say, messy stuff going on, and I feel like that's where our beef started. And I was like, our beef started because you hit me up. Like, that's where our beef started. It's not like I just started beef with you. But anyway, she sent like a whole message apologizing, and she was like, I'm just sorry. She was like, I'm going through a lot right now. She's like, I feel like I can't talk to nobody. And she was like, honestly, the only people who know I'm pregnant is you and Turtle. And I was just like, oh, okay. Like, you know, why are you telling me this? She was like, I just felt like Turtle told me. She was like, and I just want to let you know. She was like, it's not Turtle's baby, it's my boyfriend, well, ex-boyfriend. We're just gonna call him, let's just call him Bear. She was like, it's Bear's baby. She was all like, but she was like, yeah, me and Turtle, we ain't even been together for a long, like, we dated in 9th grade, like, you know, we ain't been together, blah, blah, blah. She just saying all this shit. So I'm just like, oh, okay, like, you know, so why did you have me thinking that you was messing with my man if you wasn't? She was like, I don't know, I'm just sorry. I guess there's a lot of he say, she say, and I just was mad, so I just went along with the lies or whatever and just got mad because I heard you was talking about me. From who? From who? And I was just so confused, like, girl. But anyway, when she kind of played on my heart though. But y'all don't try to do it, because I don't care about if somebody say their house flew out the window. I do not care. But y'all, no, she kind of played on my heart when she said she ain't had nobody to talk to, because around this time is when I was dealing with Bella. Y'all, this is when I was dealing with Bella, and this is when I kind of started to realize that Bella wasn't who she said she was. If y'all ain't seen that story time about Bella, that's when I said she catfished me. So I felt her on the not having nobody to talk to, because I'm just like, damn. And she was just like, yeah, and my bro, now Turtle's your bro, he ain't daddy no more. She's gonna say, my bro Turtle told me you was a real cool person and that we could relate and that you're easy to talk to. Like, you know, she was like, so I just felt comfortable telling you and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, oh, okay. She's like, but yeah, I'm sorry. I don't want it to be bad blood between us. And if you don't mind, can I talk to you about a few things? So here go my dumb ass. It's okay, girl. Yeah, we could talk. Like, okay, sure. What do you want to talk about? Ugh, y'all, I should have just let that girl deal with whatever she was. Y'all, wait till we get there, though. So I'm just like, yeah, so she's just telling me all this shit. And she's like, ever since I found out I was pregnant, she was like, he's been acting weird. I think he knows that I'm pregnant, all this other stuff. So I'm like, how many months are you? I'm like, Turtle told me he think you're 4 months. And she was like, I'm most definitely around 4 or 5 months. So I'm like, you just found out? She's like, yeah, I just found out. So I'm like, are you on birth control or something? She's like, no. So I'm asking all these questions, like, are your periods irregular on a normal, like, on everyday basis? Like, is it just normal for you not to have a period for 4 months? She's like, no, I always get a period every month on time. So you mean to tell me you're not on birth control, your periods are regular, and you went 4 months without having a period and just thought, I'm okay, and on 4th month said, let me take a pregnancy test, I might be pregnant. You didn't think that after the 1st month's period? So anyway, so I'm just like asking all these questions, and she was just like, yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but I just know my body. Like, I know my body. She was like, the other day I threw up, girl, and that's when I realized I gotta be pregnant. So the missed periods didn't do it for you. It was you throwing up. So at this point, everything just seemed just dumb, and I'm just like, this bitch, this is not me. Why am I talking to this girl? But anyway, so then she told me all this stuff, and she was just like, yeah, girl, you know, telling me all this stuff. She was like, I just feel like I really want to talk to you. Like, I could really talk to you and stuff. She was all like, I already know it would be weird if I talk to you at school. She was like, so trust me, I won't talk to you at school. Like, you know, but it's just no beef, you know, but if I could vent to you on Facebook, that's cool. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, go ahead. So school come back around. We don't talk at school, but it's no beef. But I told my homegirl knew about the whole conversation, and she was just like, she never would call me, bitch, you stupid, but I could tell the look on her face. She probably was like, what's going on? So anyway, what's her name didn't even tell, Kool-Aid didn't even tell her fucking homegirl. Kool-Aid didn't even tell her best friend Legs that we was even cool. Because one day, Legs had told me, like, what's going on? So Kool-Aid just off your head? Like, what did you do? You apologized to her? And I'm just like, girl, that's your friend. Ask her. Like, what? Like, you know, so that's how I figured. She even told me, she was like, yeah, Legs don't even know that we cool, like, on Facebook or whatever. So mind you, this is probably like a week of us talking on Facebook. So this girl told me, she was like, she's like, I've been feeling so sick lately. Like, I just really need to tell him I'm pregnant. Like, tell the boy Bear. She was like, well, she could kind of tell. She was like, because I told him I threw up. And after I told him I threw up, that's when he started acting funny. And I wasn't able to tell him I was pregnant. So she was like, can you come with me to tell him? So I'm like, do Bear go to our school? She was like, girl, no. He is like, I think Bear was like 23. So she was like, no, he this age or whatever. So I'm like, oh. She was like, yeah, can you come with me to tell him? Because I really don't know how to tell him by myself. And I'm just thinking, like, I wasn't there when y'all had the baby. The fuck? But I'm just like, yeah, girl, I will come, my dumb ass. So she was like, okay, we could ditch school on Tuesday and we could go. So I was like, I don't know about ditching school. And she's like, girl, we could just do it just so we could go. And at first, and I was thinking about, I was like, we could go after school. But then when I thought about it, I'm like, where the hell am I gonna tell my mom I'm going after school? So let's just ditch school. So that was just the best decision to do. So we ditched school or whatever. And when we was out of the school, she just telling me like, yeah, girl, we gonna go over there. We gonna walk. He don't live that far from the school. So mind y'all, I went to Rialto High. This nigga, y'all don't know where these schools is at, whatever, because y'all ain't go there. But okay, I went to Rialto. This boy lived by Eisenhower. Y'all, if you from Rialto, if you know, you know. That is a mission. Why did you say it was up the street? Like, we was, when I say we walked for so long, y'all. But anyway, before we started walking, she was all like, oh, before we go up over there, because it's still kind of early, we got a lot of stuff to do in the day. She was like, I don't want to just make it about me. If you want, we could go see Turtle. Mind you, at this time, Turtle was suspended again, because this nigga used to stay getting suspended. So she was like, we could go see Turtle. I know you ain't seen him in a minute. And at this time, Turtle had moved too. He wasn't living by me no more. So I was all like, nah. I'm like, you said we got to go by Eisenhower. And I'm like, and my house is the other direction. So I'm like, going to see Turtle wouldn't even make sense. And she was like, girl, didn't the turtle move? Girl, when she said that, I was just like, hold up. I thought you and Turtle don't, because he made it seem like he don't even speak to her no more because she tried to fuck up our relationship with the lies and shit. So, and she made it seem like that too, like in the messages. So I'm thinking like, how does she know he moved? Mind y'all, I had never been to this boy's new house yet. Like, I've never been there. And yeah, so I'm just thinking like, how do you know he moved? So I was like, oh yeah, he did move. I'm playing it off because bitch, you ain't finna know. So I'm like, oh yeah, he did move. She's like, girl, we should go pop up on him, we should go over there. So I'm like, I don't know, girl. She's like, girl, we should go. So I'm just thinking like, so I hit him up and I was just like, what you doing? I'm gonna come see you today, like I'm gonna come see you right now. And y'all, he was just like, he asked me something like, do you want to fuck? Like, you know, like, and I was just like, no, I want to just see ya. And he just like never replied. He was just, I think he said he was going to the doctor or something. It was something he said, but he really stopped replying after I said no. So next thing you know, she was like, do you want to go? Like, we gonna go over there or what? So I was like, girl, no. He stopped replying. I was like, I think he's mad. Because mind y'all, when me and her got into it before, she had mentioned that too. Like, she was just like, oh, he don't even need you, like you don't even please him, like I do all of this, I do this, that, and the third. She had mentioned that before, so she knew me and him had never did nothing. And I was like, no. I'm like, I think he kind of upset because he want to, you know, do it and I don't want to do it. Like, so I'm like, girl, so it's whatever, we could just go walk to your boo house miles and miles away. She like, girl, no, we know he at home, let's just go pop up on him. So I'm just like, I don't know, like, you know, but I let her convince me and we go pop up on him, right? So we go pop up on Turtle. When we popped up on Turtle, like, he was just like, he seen a ghost. He was like, when he seen both of us there, because mind y'all, he didn't even know I was cool with her. I didn't ever tell him that me and her was like, she was venting to me and shit. I never told him. So he like, y'all are weird, why are y'all together, what the fuck, like what the fuck is going on? So I'm like, nothing. I'm like, I want to see you, why you didn't reply to me? And she just laughing and he looking at her and I'm like, so that's why, I'm like, you didn't reply, so we just popped up on you, like I just popped up. And he looking at her and she laughing and he looking at me and he was like, Simone, come in real quick. He was all like, Kool-Aid, stay outside real quick. So he came in, I came in the house and he just like, you good, like everything cool, like y'all trying to set me up or something? I'm like, no, why would we set you up? I'm like, I hit you up, you didn't reply. I'm like, I thought maybe you fell asleep, so I just came, like we just popped up. He was just like, oh, okay. He was like, what that bitch say? Like, why are you with her? Like, what did she say? Like, he's asking me all these questions. I'm like, she didn't say nothing. She just said we should pop up on you. He's like, oh, okay. So then I asked him, like, how does she know where you live at now? He was like, oh, I don't know, probably like the homie or something. Everybody know. How everybody know where you live? Like, this isn't like public record. Well, probably it is. Nobody checking for you like that. But anyway, so he just not making no sense, but he just asking me so many questions about her. Like, did she say something about me today? Like, did she say something? Like, did she say I said something to her? And I'm like, no, she never said nothing like that. Like, chill. So anyway, so he's like, oh, well, I don't want her here. Like, you could stay, but she gotta go. And I was just like, oh, well, I was going with her to go do something. He like, what? And I'm like, she wanted me to go tell somebody something, like, you know, because I didn't want to tell him what it was. And at this point, it didn't even slip my mind to think that he didn't think that this baby was his still. Like, I didn't know that, you know, so I just didn't say what we was going to go do. But I don't know why. So so we go back outside and she was like, oh, I'm finna take her to and it was like some apartment names, which I guess is like well, it's a few popular apartment buildings out there that was like, would be popping. So, but she told him this one, like, we finna go over here. So he looking like, what the fuck, you finna go take her over there with all them niggas? And she was like, yeah, we finna go over there. And she just laughing and he was just like, you're weird. Like, you know, they go back and forth or whatever. And then we finally just leave. So I was just like, oh, he feeling some type of way. But it didn't even matter because at this time, y'all, when I said in my mini story, when I found out how Toxic was messing with Joe, and remember I was all like how she was at Turtle homeboy house, y'all, it was some shit. So at this point I really didn't care what he thought because yeah, it was some other shit that he had did anyway. So we ended up finally making it miles and miles away to this person house, right, to Bear house. When we walked in the apartment complex, it was like this one girl who went to our school, but she wasn't there at school obviously because she was in them apartments. And when she seen me and her together, because mind y'all, nobody knew we was cool, she was like, what the fuck? Like, what is you doing with her? What is y'all doing? And she was like, girl, it's cool. I'm gonna explain later. Like, she cool. She the homegirl now. And she was like, oh, where's y'all going? She was like, we're going to Bear House. Is he here? And she was like, yeah, he up in there. And she was like, as long as she don't try to talk to my baby daddy. Like, you know, and I'm just thinking like, what the fuck? But at this point, I didn't even say nothing because at this in my head, when we walked in the apartment complex, that's when it clicked to me. Simone, why the fuck did you come here with this girl? She could be setting you up. Like, it really clicked at that moment. Like, why am I trusting her? Nobody know we cool but my friend. Like, what the fuck? Like, why am I doing this? So we end up walking into the house where Bear was at. It was one of them houses. You know them people houses where you could walk, anybody could walk in the house. The door is always open. So we walk inside a Bear house, y'all. When I tell y'all, it was just a whole bunch of guys. They just kicking and smoking. They all smoking it. They all grown. So, you know, grown men. So we walk in the house or whatever. And it was one boy. He was like, who is that with you, Kool-Aid? Like, who is that? And she was like, your baby mama already told her. Don't be trying to talk to you. And he like, oh, shit. Like, you know. And I'm just thinking, like, this nigga Bo, you know your baby mom could walk in at any time, but whatever. So we sit down and she like, where Bear at? And they like, he up in there. So he ended up coming out or whatever. And he was just like, oh, Kool-Aid, what's up? Like, who is this? She like, this my friend Symone. And he like, oh, what's up, what's up? Like, y'all smoke? And she like, yeah, I do. And I'm like, nah. He like, all right, well, we finna roll up. Like, you know. And so they just chilling, smoking. I'm just thinking like, doo-doo, doo-doo. So I hit her up. I'm like, when you gonna tell him? Cause I'm just thinking like, when are you gonna tell him? Fool, we gotta walk back far as fuck, and I have to get back, because if not, I gotta get back by a certain time. Kind of like not before school let out. Cause I told my mom I was walking home, but around a nice decent time, you know. So she like, oh, I'm nervous. There's too many people here. This is clearly an everyday thing at this man's house. You knew it was gonna be too many people here. So we just chilling. So next thing you know, Bear, he just over there talking to me, and he was just like something like asking like little questions, and he was like, how you and Kool-Aid know each other? So when he said that, I looked at her and we looked at each other and we just started laughing. And he like, I'm like, we go to school together. And she was like, yeah, she go to my school, Bear. She go to my school. And he was like, oh, you go to Rialto High? What grade you in? And I'm like, I told him, and he was like, you got a boyfriend? And she just looking at me. This the whole time she just looking at me smiling. And I'm like, yeah, I got a boyfriend. And he was like, oh shit, you fucking with a nigga at the school? And I'm like, yeah, my boyfriend go to the school. Fuck. And he was just like, oh, you fucking with them young niggas. You ain't never had no grown dick before. You gonna have to switch over to this side. And she just laughing, and I'm just uncomfortable as hell at this point, because I'm just thinking like, bitch, ain't this the same Bear you supposedly 4 months pregnant by? Like, so I'm just like, what the hell? So at this point I told her, I was like, hey girl, it's getting late. We gonna have to start walking back because I gotta go before I get in trouble. He was like, you be getting in trouble? And I'm like, I'm in the 11th grade. The fuck? He just like, what that mean? He was like, she be getting in trouble. So they all laughing about how I be getting in trouble, which I was confused because y'all is a group of grown men hanging out with 2 minors, but I guess, you know. And she just like, nah. He was like, yeah. He was like, so what nigga you fuck with up at the school? Why would you even know? Why would you even know the person? And she just like smiling, and he was just like, okay, so you can't have no friends? Like, you can't have no friends? He's like, I promise you. Ooh, I was gonna say her name. He was like, I promise you, Kool-Aid, tell her about the grown dick. When she gets some of this, tell her how it is. When she gets some of this, she ain't gonna want them little ass boys. Tell her, Kool-Aid, tell her. And she was just laughing. She's like, girl, like, you know. And he like, so you can't have no friends? And I was, at this point, I got up and I started walking out the house. I said, girl, I'm finna go back because I gotta go. And they was like, oh, she's scary. Don't bring her over here no more. And I left out the house. And I'm leaving out the house for a cool minute. Y'all, I'm walking. And I end up getting stopped by the girl who went to our school. And we was just talking about something. I forgot what the fuck we was talking about. I think she was asking me what I was doing there with Kool-Aid. But at this point, we was talking for like a good 10 minutes. And then finally Kool-Aid come running outside. Mind y'all, when we went to go see this nigga, even though Kool-Aid talking about she ain't seen him in so long, and she this, that, and the third, and she wanted to look good when she go tell him, why she came with her PE clothes on, smelling like hot ass, and no slicked edges in the ponytail. It was just crazy, because it's like, why'd you come looking like that, boy? Whatever. But anyway, so she finally come running out. She was like, Symone, you really gonna just leave me? And I was like, well, these your people. Like, I gotta go. Like, I have to walk all the way back. Like, I have to go. And she was just like, girl, no. Okay, I'm gonna leave too. Come on, let's go. So I'm like, when was you gonna tell him? And she was just like, I don't know. I just didn't feel comfortable. There's a lot of people there. She's like, I was starting to get comfortable and you wanted to leave. Like, why you want to leave when I started getting comfortable? Like, we was gonna drink. And I'm like, aren't you pregnant? And she's like, girl, you can still drink when you're pregnant. And I'm just like, whoo, I rolled my eyes and I just kept walking. I'm walking. I'm trying to power walk too, because school is already out at this point. And I'm just new. Oh, I'm gonna get in trouble, which I did. Which I did. But anyway, she was just like, y'all was gonna tell him, and I was like, and what was that about? I'm like, ain't that the same bear you're pregnant by? I'm like, and you just letting him talk to me like that? And she was like, girl, he do not mean nothing like that. He was just playing. Like, he's just playing. I'm like, he was not playing. He was serious. And I'm like, and even if he was playing, why would you be okay with him playing with me like that? Like, ain't this your man? And she was just like, girl, oh my God. Like, he was just playing. She was like, that's just what he liked to do. Like, he just liked to make girls into women, or some weird line she said. And I was just like, but that's your boyfriend. I was like, bitch, I'm not trying to share another nigga with you. And I'll just start laughing. Like, I don't know, it just cut the air. Like, I always just find humor and shit. She was laughing too, and she's like, girl, trust me, we would never. Okay, PE clothes. But anyway, so anyway, we ended up walking back to the school. I got in trouble and shit, right? Boom. So anyway, that was time go by. The weekend ended up coming, and I ended up going to, this story is almost over, y'all, I'm sorry. So the weekend ended up coming, and I ended up going to Turtle House or whatever. And when I went to Turtle House, and it's crazy because when my mom, this was my first time ever going to Turtle House with my mom knowing, because it's my first time going to Turtle House with my mom knowing. She dropped me off. But yeah, my stepdad was so mad. He was like, this is like getting a frog fat for a snake. And I was just like, what? But anyway, I went to Turtle House, y'all, and like we still wasn't gonna do shit because I didn't want to do shit, but we was just watching TV and shit. And I don't know what made, like, he just was being messy, and he asked me like, so what did Kool-Aid tell you, like, when y'all popped up over here? Like, we just, this is our first time seeing each other again since that day. And he was like, that's crazy, because she hit me up and she was saying like she wanted to suck my today, and I told her to come by. So I'm like, he was like, I told her to come by because I was gonna catch her in the act so that I could show you that I don't fuck with her, or some weird shit he said, which didn't make no sense because I didn't tell him that me and Kool-Aid was cool, but Kool-Aid told him that me and her have been talking. So he was like, I told her to come back, I was gonna show you. And I was like, well, how would you have shown me if you didn't even know it was cool? And he was like, she told me. And I'm like, I thought you said you wasn't talking to her. And he was just like, oh, well, da 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 da. So at this point, I'm getting mad. Like, I'm mad as hell. Like, I'm so mad because I'm just like, no. So at this point, y'all, I was being extra. I made him post me on his Facebook showing like I was at his house. I made him post me. I took away his away, like, babe here, Symone here, taking over his away. You remember people used to do that on AIM, like take over the people aways. So I did all of that, right? And I ended up hitting her up, not when I was at his house, but I hit her up later, and I was just like, bitch, you're weird as fuck, because she was still talking to him. It was stuff she was saying, like, he was like, it was stuff like, because after that point, when I took over his away, I went through his phone and I went through their messages, and it was stuff where she was saying, and it was reasons why she knew where he lived, because she came over there. She broke that bed in. Like, it was, them messages was crazy. So when I got home, I hit her up and I'm cussing her the fuck out. Like, I was like, you weird ass bitch, you try to be my friend, da 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 da. And she was just like, girl, what the fuck? Like, nobody did nothing with him, and he's a fucking liar. I don't have to lie about nothing. Like, nobody did nothing with that boy. She was like, bitch, I'm a virgin, I ain't never did nothing with nobody. Didn't you just say you was 4 months pregnant? Didn't you just say that you 4 months pregnant? Bitch, just earlier in the week, you was finna go didn't this nigga just tell you to tell me how the grown man D is like? Because clearly you had it. I see the messages where you telling him like, oh, I can't believe you would do, you know, fuck me and then still be with her. What is she doing for you? She's not doing it. Like, y'all had the nerve to say she was a virgin. So I'm like, what? He was like, yeah, that bitch do that all the time. He was like, she claimed that she a virgin. He was like, and then you do something with her and she says she pregnant. He was like, and it's sad because she do this with me all the time, and it's like, how are you a virgin when I just fucked you yesterday? And I was just like, no. I was so mad. Like, I was mad because my dumb ass really gave in and was being cool with her, and I guess I was just really mad because I'm like, I guess she wanted to keep me close so that she could make sure that she could still do whatever she wanted to do with him, or maybe she thought it was just so funny. I have no idea. Even in the messages, she was trying to tell him like I was talking to the guys there and that I went in the back with somebody, and I'm just like, bitch, we sat on that couch hip to hip the whole time. Oh, excuse me. I'm just like, girl, we sat on that couch hip to hip the whole time. When did I ever go in the back room with anybody? I didn't even feel comfortable to where I'm the one who walked out the house. Like, I was just like, this girl is so weird. And it's crazy because later down in life, a situation happened with Turtle, and a lot of people knew about it. Like, so I ain't gonna get too much into details, but anyway, she ended up hitting me up and was like, this was like years later, I probably was like 20 at this time, and she hit me up and she was like, girl, I can't believe we used to argue over that nigga childish shit, LOL, but we grown now, how you been? Girl, fuck you, for real. But at that time, we was friends on Facebook, because after we had fell out, we never, like, I never unfriended her, because when we became somewhat friends, we became friends, and I had never unfriended her. But yeah, and it was just crazy, because when she posted, I ended up going to her page to see how she looked now, and I seen on her post, because she was pregnant at this time, and I seen it was like with her first child, and I seen in her post, she was like, it's crazy, the first time I lose my virginity, I get pregnant, mommy's baby is on the way. I'm just thinking like, bitch, how many virginities you got? Like, no, it just was so funny to me, because I'm just like, this bitch is weird. But I don't know what happened to her now in life, because my old Facebook got deactivated. But yeah, I don't know what happened to that girl. But I know, y'all, don't be friends with nobody you have beef with over a nigga, because people be having hidden animosity. Like, I don't know why I was friends with her anyway. I was stupid and young. I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, that's the end of this story, because my camera is blinking and finna die. Y'all, don't forget to comment down below, give a girl a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel, and peace out.